Imagine living your entire life sharing the same body, every breath, every heartbeat, every decision literally side by side with your twin. This is the incredible and controversial story of Abby and Brittany Hensel, the world's most famous conjoined twins, who stunned millions with their strength, their independence, and the unbreakable bond that defied science and society. But behind the smiles, interviews, and viral documentaries lies a reality far more complex and emotional than most people could ever imagine. How do you find individuality when you can't be physically alone? How do you navigate love, privacy, and identity when the world watches your every move? Abby and Brittany's story is not just about biology, it's about humanity, controversy, and the limits of what it truly means to live as one. From the moment they were born in 1990, doctors said they wouldn't survive, yet they proved everyone wrong, learning to walk, drive, teach, and even travel the world together. But over time, the challenges became more profound. Rumors of medical risks, difficult choices about surgeries, and the psychological struggle of living under constant public curiosity turned their lives into a silent battle between fame and privacy. As the years went on, questions about their future marriage, health, and even mortality sparked debates across the internet and media, leaving millions wondering what would happen next. In this video, we're going deep into the truth behind their shared life, the controversies, the sacrifices, and the moments that shocked even those closest to them. But before we start, make sure to subscribe to this channel and hit that like button, because your engagement tells YouTube that this story matters and helps us bring you more real, thought-provoking content. Your subscription keeps this community alive. And if you'd like to support us even more, click the Super Thanks button. It's a simple way to help us keep creating deep, emotional stories like this one. If you can't, no problem, just leave a comment below and tell us what part of Abby and Brittany's journey shocked you the most. And don't go anywhere, because the last revelation of this video will leave you speechless. It's something the world never expected to hear. Abby and Brittany Hensel's story begins like something out of a medical miracle, a human rarity that defied all odds from the moment they entered the world. Born on March 7th, 1990, in Carver County, Minnesota, to proud parents Patty and Mike Hensel, the identical twins arrived in a way no one expected. Patty, a registered nurse, and Mike, a carpenter and landscaper, were a simple Midwestern couple who had no reason to imagine that their first pregnancy would make medical history. During the pregnancy, ultrasound showed nothing unusual. Doctors thought Patty was carrying a single, healthy baby. But when the delivery came, the room fell into stunned silence. What the medical team saw was beyond imagination. Two baby girls, perfectly formed from the neck up, but sharing one body from the shoulders down. They had two heads, two hearts, two spines that merged at the lower back, two sets of lungs, and a single torso with one pair of arms and legs. For a moment, no one could speak. The doctors quickly realized they were dealing with a condition so rare that only a handful of similar cases had ever been documented in the world. The girls were dicephalic parapagous, conjoined twins, meaning two individuals fused side by side, sharing one body. The odds of survival for babies born in this condition are extremely low. Most die within hours or days due to complications with organs, circulation, or breathing. Yet somehow, Abby and Brittany were breathing, crying, and alive. Their parents were terrified but instantly fell in love with the two tiny faces looking up at them. Mike and Patty named them Abigail Lorraine and Brittany Lee, choosing to treat them not as a medical anomaly, but as their daughter's two girls who just happened to share one body. From the very beginning, their parents faced decisions that would challenge even the strongest hearts. Doctors suggested the possibility of surgical separation, but the risks were catastrophic. Each girl controlled one side of their shared body. Abby managed the right arm and leg, while Brittany managed the left, and their organs were so intertwined that separating them would almost certainly mean death for one or both. Patty and Mike, after painful consultations and sleepless nights, made a decision that would shape their daughters' lives forever. They would not attempt separation. "We decided that if God made them this way, He had a reason," Patty once said in an interview years later. "We'd rather have two girls living one life than risk losing one or both trying to make them what the world calls normal. That philosophy to raise Abby and Brittany as naturally and positively as possible became the foundation of the Hensel family's journey. Their home in New Germany, Minnesota, was filled with love, laughter, and a determination to make life feel as normal as it could be. From the start, Mike built special furniture to help them sit upright and move around, while Patty spent countless hours figuring out how to balance their coordination. What amazed doctors was how quickly the girls adapted. By the time they were toddlers, they were crawling, walking, and learning to coordinate their movements perfectly. It wasn't easy. Each side of the body responded to a different brain. When they wanted to reach for a toy, Abby had to move her arm in perfect sync with Brittany's, otherwise nothing worked. But somehow, they figured it out instinctively, like a perfectly timed dance between two souls who knew each other better than anyone could. Their parents and community treated them with acceptance and admiration. In small-town Minnesota, they attended regular school, went to church, played with neighborhood kids, and were never hidden from the world. Mike and Patty made sure of that. They didn't want their daughters to grow up feeling different or pitted. Instead, they wanted them to see themselves as extraordinary in strength, not in abnormality. Still, the outside world could be cruel. As news spread, the twins became subjects of fascination and, at times, unwanted attention. Medical experts wanted to study them. Reporters wanted interviews. The Hensel family carefully protected their privacy, choosing when and how to share their story. One of the first times Abby and Brittany appeared publicly was in a feature for Life magazine when they were 6 years old. The cover called them One Body, Two Souls, and the world was instantly captivated. Soon after, they appeared on the Oprah Winfrey Show, where viewers were amazed not only by their condition, but by their charm, humor, and confidence. They were not a tragedy. They were a celebration of survival. Behind the cameras, though, life was filled with challenges most people could never imagine. Every small milestone required teamwork. Brushing their teeth, writing, or riding a bike demanded coordination and patience. As they grew, their differences in personality became clearer. Abby, the more assertive twin, was known for being outspoken and a little bossy, while Brittany was gentler and more reserved. They bickered like any siblings would, yet their disagreements had higher stakes, since compromise was part of daily survival. Patty once explained that she never saw her daughters as two halves of one person, but as two complete individuals who happened to share one body. They are two minds, two hearts, two completely separate souls, she said. They just have to share a space that most of us get to have alone. Over the years, their family grew with younger siblings, a brother and a sister who loved them without hesitation and treated them like any other big sisters. The Hensel home was filled with playful chaos and unconditional love. Their parents set boundaries for privacy and taught the girls independence early on. They learned to cook, use computers, and even play musical instruments. Doctors who followed their progress called them a living miracle. Still, their physical condition required constant monitoring. They had a third arm surgically removed early in life, as it was non-functional. They also had spinal surgery to correct scoliosis and improve balance as they grew taller. Yet, through every procedure, their spirits stayed strong. From their earliest days, Abby and Brittany proved that they were not defined by limitations, but by resilience. As they entered adolescence, the media's fascination intensified. People wanted to know how they managed to live as two individuals in one body, how they handled emotions, decision-making, even love. Their parents shielded them as much as possible, insisting that their daughters deserved a normal childhood, free from the world's voyeurism. Privately, the twins developed their own ways to deal with emotional stress. They had moments of frustration times when one wanted to rest and the other wanted to go out, or when they disagreed about what to wear. But their relationship, despite inevitable tension, was grounded in deep empathy. "We've never wanted to be apart," Brittany once said in an interview. "We've always known life this way, and we don't think we'd be the same without each other." Their story inspired millions, not only because of their physical uniqueness, but because of the love and strength that surrounded them. Growing up in a world that constantly demanded perfection, Abby and Brittany became symbols of authenticity, proof that happiness and normalcy can exist in the most extraordinary forms. Their early life was marked by medical uncertainty, yes, but also by an unshakable sense of family, faith, and hope. Against every prediction, they not only survived but thrived, turning what was once seen as a tragedy into one of the most uplifting stories of courage and unity ever told. The story of Abby and Brittany Hensel's physiology, coordination, and medical challenges is one of the most extraordinary examples of human adaptability ever documented. Born as dicephalic paraplegics conjoined twins, meaning they share a single body with two heads side by side. Their anatomy has fascinated medical professionals, scientists, and the general public for decades. Yet beyond a medical wonder, what truly makes their story so captivating is how they have transformed what could have been seen purely as a limitation into a remarkable display of teamwork, coordination, and shared resilience. Their condition is extremely rare, estimated to occur in only 1 in 50,000 to 100,000 births, and even among those, few survive past infancy. Abby and Brittany not only survived but thrived, and that is due in part to their unique physiology and the bond they have cultivated since birth. Anatomically, the twins each have their own head and neck, separate spines that merge into a single lower backbone, and two distinct sets of organs in their upper bodies. This includes 2 hearts, 2 sets of lungs, 2 stomachs, and 2 complete nervous systems up to the point where their spinal cords meet. Below the chest, however, their internal systems begin to fuse. They share 1 large liver, 1 circulatory system below the diaphragm, 1 set of reproductive organs, 1 bladder, and 1 set of intestines. Essentially, from the waist down, they function as 1 biological unit, while above it, they remain 2 separate individuals. Despite these physical complexities, Abby and Brittany control their shared body in an extraordinary way. Abby controls the right arm and right leg, while Brittany controls the left arm and left leg. Each side of their body responds independently to its respective brain's commands, meaning that walking, running, swimming, driving, or even clapping requires seamless communication and instinctive synchronization between them. From an early age, they had to learn how to move together, step by step, literally. When they first began to crawl and walk as toddlers, it was an experiment in cooperation. Each twin had to anticipate the other's movement without conscious thought. Over the years, this coordination became second nature. Today, their ability to perform physical activities, such as riding a bike, playing volleyball, swimming, or driving a car, is almost unbelievable. Their muscle memory is so finely tuned that they don't have to verbalize their movements anymore. Their bodies simply act as one. One of the most remarkable demonstrations of their coordination came when they learned how to drive. Abby is responsible for the right side controls, like the gas pedal and the gear shift, while Brittany manages the left side tasks, like the turn signals and lights. Steering requires both of them to cooperate equally. They each had to take the driver's test separately and passed individually, showing that the law and the state of Minnesota recognized them as 2 distinct people sharing 1 body. Their driving skill is not only a symbol of independence, but also a testament to their mental and physical harmony. From a neurological standpoint, their coordination is astonishing. Each twin's brain sends signals only to her own half of the body, yet both sets of nerves and muscles must operate in perfect timing for every step and motion to appear natural. Medical experts have noted that their brains must communicate through external feedback sight, balance, and touch, since there is no direct neurological link between their 2 central nervous systems. This means they must constantly process subtle cues from one another in real time. The shared senses also reflect this complexity. They each feel sensations independently on their respective sides, but they can sense touch near the midline of the body simultaneously. This limited crossover of sensory information adds another fascinating layer to how they experience the world. For example, if someone touches one of their shared arms near the center, they may both feel it, though with different intensity. Abby and Brittany also have slightly different metabolisms, which leads to small differences in their health and body functions. For instance, when one gets sick, The other might not feel the same symptoms, or may feel them with less intensity. There have been instances where one twin has a fever and the other does not. This creates medical challenges for doctors who must treat them as two patients living in one body. If they require medication, dosages must be balanced carefully so that both receive appropriate treatment without over or under-medicating either of them. Despite their medical uniqueness, the twins have experienced relatively stable health throughout their lives. However, there have been some complications along the way. During childhood, they were diagnosed with mild scoliosis, a curvature of the spine, which required surgery to prevent future complications. They also had chest reconstruction to correct a misalignment of their rib cage that was making it difficult for one twin to breathe comfortably. These procedures were complex because surgeons had to consider both twins' circulatory systems and vital organs to ensure that no harm came to either one. As they grew older, subtle physical differences became more noticeable. Brittany's spine is slightly shorter than Abby's, which means she often walks on tiptoe to maintain balance, giving their gait a distinctive rhythm. This difference has also affected muscle development on each side of the body. When you see them walking, running, or dancing, it's mesmerizing because you're watching two individuals moving with one perfectly synchronized motion. Their shared body has adapted to accommodate these differences, and they have learned to compensate intuitively. Interestingly, despite sharing most lower body systems, they each have different tastes and preferences that affect their physical reactions. For example, Brittany enjoys coffee, but Abby's body doesn't react well to caffeine. This creates situations where their shared digestive and circulatory systems must handle different chemical responses from two separate brains. Scientists find this kind of dual regulation fascinating, as it challenges the limits of how two separate minds can coexist in one organism. Over the years, Abby and Brittany have inspired countless medical studies, but they have also drawn a firm line when it comes to invasive research or unwanted medical attention. Their family has always emphasized their humanity over their uniqueness, insisting that they not be treated as subjects of curiosity, but as two normal girls who happen to share a body. This has helped them maintain strong self-esteem and a healthy sense of individuality, despite public fascination with their condition. In their teenage years, as their bodies matured, new medical and personal challenges arose. Doctors monitored their cardiovascular system closely, since each twin's heart has to pump blood through shared organs. There were also concerns about how puberty would affect them hormonally, but remarkably, their body adjusted naturally. Both twins developed normally, the menstrual cycles synchronized, and their physical development remained stable. From a coordination standpoint, their teenage years were an important period of growth. They joined sports teams in school and participated in activities like swimming and cycling, which helped strengthen their core muscles and refine their balance. Their athletic ability further improved their body control, reinforcing the natural rhythm that defines their every move. Even their posture evolved so that they appear confident and well-balanced when standing or walking together. One of the most emotionally challenging aspects of their physiology, however, has been dealing with the public's constant fascination and speculation. People often wonder what would happen if one twin were to fall ill or if separation were ever medically possible. The answer is complicated. Because of their shared vital organs, separation would be almost certainly fatal for at least one of them. For that reason, their parents decided early on not to pursue any surgical attempt to divide them. This choice not only saved their lives, but also allowed them to grow up as one complete, functional individual in two minds. Today, the medical care focuses on maintenance rather than intervention. Regular checkups ensure that their shared organs function properly, that there are no spinal complications, and that both twins maintain equal muscle tone and strength. Doctors describe their health as remarkably stable, considering the risks associated with conjoined physiology. What's most fascinating is that they have learned to use their condition to their advantage. The cooperation required to live day to day has made them experts in empathy, patience, and emotional intelligence. Their shared life has built an instinctive awareness of each other's needs, something no amount of medical training could ever teach. When you watch Abby and Brittany move together, it's not mechanical or awkward. It's graceful, almost artistic, the result of decades of collaboration between two minds perfectly attuned to one another. Despite all the challenges they've faced, their physiology tells a story not of limitation, but of adaptation, resilience, and human potential. Their bodies may be one, but their spirits are too united by biology, bound by willpower, and strengthened by the kind of connection that only they can understand. Abby and Brittany Hensel have always been two very distinct individuals living within one extraordinary body, and that's what makes their personalities so endlessly fascinating to people around the world. While their physical connection forces them to share everything from walking and eating to driving and working, their emotional worlds and mental landscapes are completely separate, and that contrast is both beautiful and complex. Those who have spent time with them, from teachers and friends to journalists who were lucky enough to interview them, all say the same thing. You can feel immediately that Abby and Brittany are different people, with different ways of thinking, different senses of humor, and even different levels of confidence. It's as if their shared body houses two completely different energy frequencies, and somehow, those two energies learn to harmonize instead of collide. Abby, the right-sided twin, has always been the more outspoken, assertive, and sometimes stubborn personality. She's practical, analytical, and tends to take charge in group situations. People who met them during their early TV appearances remember Abby as the one who would answer questions first, correct details if she thought something was off, and confidently express opinions even when Brittany preferred to stay quiet. Abby enjoys being outdoors, likes brighter colors and bolder clothing choices, and has always been described as more spontaneous and socially dominant. Brittany, on the other hand, has a softer and more cautious personality. She tends to think before speaking, is more emotional and empathetic, and often tries to calm situations when tensions rise. Brittany prefers more subtle colors, enjoys calm environments, and has a gentler tone when interacting with people. Those differences have often led to small disagreements between them, nothing dramatic, but rather the kind of small compromises that define every shared relationship, just multiplied by the fact that their lives are literally one continuous collaboration. Imagine waking up and having to agree on what to wear, what to eat, or what route to take when walking to work. For Abby and Brittany, those small decisions require daily diplomacy. They once mentioned in an interview that when one wants to go somewhere and the other doesn't, they'll usually negotiate. If you do this for me today, I'll do that for you tomorrow. It's their own system of balance, and it has worked for more than 30 years. What's interesting is how well they read each other without words. They often finish each other's sentences, anticipate one another's reactions, and even seem to move instinctively in sync, as if connected by something deeper than nerves or muscle memory to speak in front of the camera. Or Brittany looking uncomfortable when Abby made a quick decision about an activity. Yet, those small moments of friction only made them more relatable. They weren't pretending to be perfect twins who never argued. They were showing what real coexistence looks like when you have no choice but to share every heartbeat of your day with another person. Their preferences in entertainment also show this divide. Abby enjoys sports, particularly volleyball and other active hobbies, while Brittany prefers reading, art, and quiet activities. When they were teenagers, Brittany admitted she was terrified of roller coasters and heights, while Abby loved the thrill of it. There were even reports that Abby sometimes tried to convince Brittany to push her limits, while Brittany would bargain to avoid doing things she found terrifying. They laughed about it later, saying that they've learned to respect each other's boundaries. If one doesn't feel comfortable doing something, they simply don't do it. Another key difference lies in how they experience the world physically, because their body is shared. Things like temperature, hunger, or caffeine affect them differently. Abby has said in interviews that caffeine doesn't really do much for her, while Brittany feels her heart race after drinking coffee. Sometimes, one feels tired while the other is still full of energy. Imagine trying to sleep when your other half isn't ready to rest. That's something they've had to learn to manage since childhood. They've built an impressive level of patience and understanding, recognizing that their individual needs have to be balanced with each other's well-being. When it comes to their personal opinions and values, they don't always align perfectly either. Abby tends to be more logical, even skeptical, while Brittany has a more emotional and spiritual approach to life. In interviews, Abby sometimes appears slightly more defensive when people ask intrusive or awkward questions about their bodies, while Brittany often diffuses those moments with humor or kindness. This duality, fire and calm, has become the secret to their success as a unit. They balance each other in ways most people never experience. Their friends have said that Abby often takes the lead in social situations, initiating conversations and steering discussions, while Brittany observes quietly and contributes thoughtfully. The dynamic has helped them survive media attention and fame with grace. When the world first met them through the Oprah Winfrey Show and later through TLC, they were very aware that the public was both fascinated and intrusive. They've learned to protect themselves emotionally, and Abby is usually the one who sets boundaries, while Brittany supports her by keeping the tone kind but firm. Over the years, these personality differences have shaped their careers too. As teachers, they work together in perfect coordination, but even there, their strengths complement each other. Abby takes the lead with discipline and structure in the classroom, while Brittany focuses on empathy, patience, and helping students who struggle emotionally. Their co-workers have said the students love them because they bring both authority and warmth in the same lesson. Of course, living as two people inside one body means there are also moments of exhaustion, times when they wish for solitude or independence. They've openly admitted that sometimes one of them wants to be alone, but that's physically impossible. To manage that, they find ways to create emotional space. One might read while the other listens to music or watches TV. They respect each other's mental boundaries, even if their physical ones don't exist. That mutual respect is what keeps them strong. Still, their differences sometimes trigger heated moments. Abby once joked in an interview that Brittany could be a bit of a perfectionist, while Brittany teased that Abby was bossy. It's sibling humor, but also honest acknowledgement of friction. Yet those disagreements rarely last long. They've developed a deep ability to compromise and move forward, something many separate individuals struggle to achieve. What fascinates psychologists who have studied their behavior is how their two nervous systems operate separately, but produce one synchronized personality dynamic. When asked if they ever tried to become more like each other, Abby replied that they've accepted who they are. "We don't try to be the same person, we're just two people who happen to share a body," she said. This acceptance of dual identity has shaped their confidence as adults. They don't see themselves as incomplete or limited. They see themselves as whole, two complete human beings coexisting in an extraordinary form. Their public statements in recent years show how mature and centered they've become. When Abby's marriage to Josh Bowling made headlines in 2023, and the internet erupted with opinions about how such a relationship could work, both sisters responded not with anger, but with humor. They posted a TikTok saying, "The internet is extra loud today. We've always been around." It was a gentle reminder that their lives aren't for public dissection. They've lived with constant curiosity from the world since birth, so they've learned to defend their privacy without losing grace. Abby's practicality and Brittany's empathy once again worked hand in hand. Abby's words drew a clear line. Brittany's tone softened the message. That's who they are, opposites that together form balance. Their personalities have evolved, but their bond has never weakened. If anything, the years have made them stronger, more self-aware, and more united. They've learned how to transform differences into teamwork, how to communicate with patience and honesty, and how to keep humor alive even in moments of frustration. Their personalities are like the two halves of a song, different melodies that, when played together, create perfect harmony. Abby and Brittany's story isn't just about being conjoined twins. It's about coexistence, respect, individuality, and love that transcends every physical limitation. And while they might argue about what to wear or who gets to choose dinner, deep down they know that their lives are proof that two completely different people can share not just a body, but a purpose to live authentically, to love deeply, and to remind the world that individuality can flourish even in the most extraordinary circumstances. Abby and Brittany Hensel's journey through education, Their careers and their life in the public eye is one of the most extraordinary and inspiring stories ever told, not just because of their rare condition, but because of how they managed to live a life defined not by limitations, but by determination, teamwork, and resilience. From their earliest years, their parents, Patty and Mike Hensel, insisted that they would be treated as individuals who just happened to share one body. That mindset shaped everything about their upbringing and later influenced their success in education and professional life. They attended a local elementary school in New Germany, Minnesota, where teachers and classmates quickly realized that the twins were not to be pitted or treated as a spectacle, but as smart, witty, and driven students who happened to live life differently from everyone else. As children, they learned to write, type, and even play musical instruments, mastering coordination between two minds controlling one body. Their teachers often marveled at how effortlessly they completed tasks that would seem impossible to most people. But it wasn't effortless, it was the result of years of patience, cooperation, and practice. Abby controlled the right side of their body, and Brittany controlled the left, meaning that even the simplest task required total synchronization. That shared effort shaped their communication style, patience, and the way they approached every challenge that came later in life. During high school at Mayer Lutheran in Minnesota, Abby and Brittany became beloved members of their community. They were good students, social, and deeply engaged in school life. They participated in sports like volleyball and softball, and although their movements had to be coordinated, their teammates described them as energetic, capable, and fun. Their confidence grew over the years, and by the time they reached senior year, they were already used to the attention and questions that followed them everywhere. Their classmates treated them with respect and affection, seeing them as individuals rather than curiosities. After high school graduation in 2008, Abby and Brittany faced one of the biggest decisions of their lives: college. Many wondered how conjoined twins could manage higher education, but for them, there was never a question of whether they would go, only where. They enrolled at Bethel University in Arden Hills, Minnesota, majoring in education because both had a passion for helping children and shaping young minds. The decision reflected their shared personality, both compassionate, patient, and drawn to teaching. They initially considered pursuing slightly different areas of specialization. Brittany leaned toward English, and Abby was interested in mathematics, but ultimately they chose to focus on education together to simplify their schedules and maintain balance between their shared physical and emotional needs. College life was another milestone for the twins. Living on campus meant independence, new experiences, and being surrounded by people who had never met conjoined twins before. They attended lectures, studied for exams, and even completed internships, just like any other students. Their professors often praised their dedication and maturity. One of the most fascinating aspects of their college years was how seamlessly they managed tasks that required separate grades and evaluations. They each had to demonstrate understanding individually, even if they worked together physically. Professors at Bethel University often described them as brilliant communicators who complemented each other's strengths, Abby being more assertive and analytical, and Brittany being more empathetic and reflective. This balance made them ideal future teachers. By 2012, they had completed all academic requirements and proudly graduated with Bachelor of Arts degrees in education. Their graduation was an emotional day, not only for their family, but also for everyone who had followed their journey since childhood. Photos and interviews from that day showed the pride and joy on their faces. Two minds, one body, one shared dream realized. After graduating, Abby and Brittany decided to pursue their teaching careers, proving once again that they would not let physical circumstances define their future. In 2013, they began working as fifth-grade teachers at Sunnyside Elementary School in New Brighton, Minnesota. Their transition into professional life was both inspiring and groundbreaking. Many people wondered how the school system would handle employment, salary, and logistics for conjoined teachers. The solution turned out to be simple yet symbolic. They were hired as two separate teachers, each with their own contract and evaluation. Even though they share one body, they are recognized legally and professionally as two individuals, each deserving full acknowledgement for her work. Their students and colleagues describe them as exceptional teachers, creative, patient, and dedicated. Their unique coordination allows them to divide tasks naturally. One can write on the board while the other engages students verbally. They often finish each other's sentences during lessons, and children quickly learn to interact with them comfortably, forgetting within days that they are different at all. Their classroom dynamic reflects everything they have learned throughout life: mutual respect, communication, and adaptability. Students often say that Abby and Brittany bring twice the energy and twice the fun to every class. They also use their experiences to teach deeper lessons about acceptance, teamwork, and resilience. For many children, being taught by the Hensel twins becomes a life-changing experience, one that shapes their understanding of inclusion and diversity. Beyond their teaching job, Abby and Brittany have also made a mark through media appearances. Their first major public exposure came at age 6, when they appeared on The Oprah Winfrey Show in 1996. That episode introduced them to the world and began decades of fascination with their lives. Shortly afterward, they appeared on the cover of Life magazine under the powerful headline, "One Body, Two Souls." From that moment, they became global icons of courage and positivity. In the following years, documentaries such as Joined for Life and Extraordinary People showcased their daily lives, highlighting how they managed everything from riding bikes to cooking to playing sports. But their most famous media project came in 2012, just after college graduation, when they starred in their own reality TV show on TLC, titled Abby and Brittany. The show documented their transition from college students to professional teachers and offered viewers an intimate look into their lives. It followed them as they traveled through Europe with friends, applied for jobs, and moved into their teaching careers. The tone of the show was uplifting but also deeply personal. It showed the challenges, compromises, and moments of joy that came with adulthood. Millions tuned in, fascinated by their ability to live so harmoniously and independently. Despite the success, Abby and Brittany decided not to continue the show beyond one season, saying they wanted to return to a more private, authentic life. The decision reflected their ongoing struggle to balance their natural desire for privacy with the public's endless curiosity. They had always appreciated the opportunities the media brought, but they never wanted to become celebrities, defined by their condition. After stepping back from television, they focused on their teaching careers and life away from the spotlight. Their choice to live quietly didn't stop the world from wondering about them, but allowed them to focus on what truly mattered: family, friends, and the students they inspire every day. Over the years, they have occasionally granted interviews or appeared in short video clips, often emphasizing the same message. They are happy, fulfilled, and proud of their independence. In recent years, particularly around 2023 and 2024, their lives made headlines again when Abby's marriage to Josh Bowling, a U.S. Army veteran and nurse, became public. Wedding photos posted online went viral, reigniting public fascination. Many people celebrated the news, while others raised intrusive questions about their personal lives. Abby and Brittany handled the attention gracefully, reminding the public through social media posts that their lives are theirs to live and that people who watch and judge are, in their words, still fans. Even with the renewed attention, Abby and Brittany continue to teach and live in Minnesota, surrounded by family and community. They have managed to transform their unusual circumstances into a powerful example of unity, cooperation, and strength. Professionally, they remain admired educators. Their students adore them, their colleagues respect them, and their story continues to inspire people around the world. Few individuals have faced the kind of constant scrutiny they have endured, and yet, through education and public service, they have carved out a meaningful, grounded, and deeply human life. Today, their careers stand as proof that difference is not a limitation, it's a form of strength. They have shown that success isn't about how many challenges you face, but how you choose to face them, whether in front of a classroom or living quietly at home. Abby and Brittany Hensel embody what it means to persevere, to adapt, and to thrive. Their education and professional life are not just personal achievements. They are a message to the world that no matter how extraordinary your circumstances may be, with courage, unity, and love, you can build a beautiful, purposeful life. When it comes to Abby and Brittany Hensel, the topic of relationships, marriage, and public controversies has always been one of the most discussed, misunderstood, and, at times, unfairly sensationalized parts of their lives. Born as conjoined twins who share one body but have two distinct minds, hearts, and personalities, Abby and Brittany have had to navigate not only the biological and emotional complexity of living as two individuals in one physical form, but also the world's relentless curiosity about how they live, love, and form relationships. While they have always valued their privacy, the public's fascination has often pushed them into the spotlight, leading to speculation, controversy, and countless misconceptions about their personal lives. From their teenage years, people were already wondering what would happen when Abby and Brittany grew up. Questions about dating, marriage, and intimacy began long before they were even adults. The twins, who had spent their entire lives proving society wrong about what they could do, from walking to driving and teaching, faced a new kind of challenge, proving that they, too, could love and be loved like anyone else. For years, they avoided talking publicly about romance. In interviews, when asked about relationships, they would often smile politely or laugh it off, making it clear that not everything about their lives was up for discussion. As Brittany once said, "We're not going to talk about that. We like to keep some things private." Their decision to maintain silence on such an intimate topic wasn't just about modesty. It was a form of protection. The world, as kind as it could be, also had a cruel side, one that tended to dehumanize them, treating them as medical curiosities rather than real women with emotions, desires, and boundaries. Still, despite their silence, the speculation never stopped. Rumors about whether they would ever marry or have children became a constant part of online discussions, tabloid headlines, and even academic debates about human identity and individuality. The turning point came in 2021 when news quietly broke that Abby Hensel had married a man named Josh Bowling, a U.S. Army veteran and registered nurse. The ceremony itself was intimate and private, attended by close family and friends, and the twins did not publicize it. For nearly 2 years, the marriage remained mostly a private matter until 2023, when wedding photos began to circulate on TikTok and Facebook. In the images, Abby and Brittany appeared radiant, dressed in white, standing next to Josh in what seemed to be a moment of pure joy. The internet, however, reacted explosively. Within hours, the twins were trending worldwide, and social media was flooded with questions, jokes, and, unfortunately, cruel comments. Many people expressed admiration, saying how beautiful it was that Abby had found love, but others reacted with discomfort or mockery, questioning the logistics of such a union. The story quickly spread across platforms like People, Online, and The Sun, reigniting public interest in the twins after nearly a decade of relative privacy. Josh Bowling was portrayed as a kind and supportive husband, someone who had embraced the twins' unique bond and family structure without hesitation. He already had a daughter named Isabella from a previous marriage, and according to close sources, Abby and Brittany both play active roles in her life. The three of them have been photographed together in family gatherings and school events, showing an image of normalcy that many found surprisingly touching. For Abby, the marriage represented a step toward independence and self-definition. For Brittany, it meant adjusting to a new kind of relationship dynamic, one where her sister's bond with a partner would inevitably affect her own life, physically and emotionally. Yet, according to those close to the Hensels, the sisters approached it as they always have, with mutual respect, open communication, and love. Of course, the online reaction wasn't entirely kind. Some users posted offensive comments, others mocked the idea of shared marriage, and a few even accused the media of exploiting their story for clicks. In response, Abby and Brittany did something rare. They spoke up. On TikTok, they posted a video with the caption, "The internet is extra loud today. We have always been around." The message was short but powerful, a reminder that they were living their lives, not performing for an audience. In another clip, they added a more defiant message. If you don't like what we do, but you watch everything we do, you're still a fan. The tone was playful but pointed, showing that the twins were aware of how deeply their lives fascinated others, and how unfairly that fascination sometimes crossed into intrusion. But as with most public figures, the controversy didn't stop there. In 2023, a paternity lawsuit involving Josh Bowling and his ex-wife surfaced online. The case was unrelated to Abby and Brittany, but because of their visibility, their names were dragged into headlines once again. Tabloids speculated about the timeline of Josh's past relationship and his marriage to Abby, stirring gossip about whether there had been overlap or tension between the families. None of these claims were substantiated, and the twins did not comment publicly, but the story fueled yet another round of online discussion about their private lives. Some viewers criticized the press for sensationalizing a deeply personal issue, while others argued that the couple had to expect scrutiny since their story was so unique. In reality, Abby and Brittany have handled these controversies with remarkable grace. Those who have followed their journey since childhood know that the twins have always sought a balance between living openly and maintaining boundaries. Their marriage did not change that. They continue to work as fifth-grade teachers in Minnesota, where they are well respected by colleagues and adored by their students. Those close to them describe their marriage as loving, functional, and far more ordinary than outsiders might think. The twins themselves have said that they prefer a quiet life and dislike unnecessary attention. When it comes to questions about intimacy and how a conjoined twin marriage works, Abby and Brittany have always drawn a firm line. They've expressed discomfort with how the media frames such questions, emphasizing that they are human beings deserving of privacy. Nonetheless, their situation has sparked genuine ethical and legal discussions. How does marriage law apply to conjoined individuals? Can one person marry if they share a body with another? Who gives consent? These are questions with no easy answers, and they highlight how Abby and Brittany's life challenges not only social norms, but also legal and philosophical definitions of identity and personhood. Still, the twins' love story, if one can call it, that is not defined by controversy, but by resilience. In a world obsessed with labels, Abby and Brittany have redefined what love and partnership can look like. They remind us that relationships are not about perfection or appearance, but about mutual respect, communication, and trust. While outsiders might find it difficult to understand their situation, for them, it's simply life. They have repeatedly said that they see themselves as two independent women who happen to share one body. In that sense, Abby's marriage doesn't erase Brittany's identity, it simply adds another chapter to their shared story. As of 2025, Abby, Brittany, and Josh continue to live quietly in Minnesota. They post occasional updates on TikTok, often showing snippets of their daily lives, celebrations, family moments, classroom achievements, and subtle glimpses into a happy, grounded routine. In one 2024 video, fans spotted what appeared to be a newborn baby, leading to a wave of speculation that the couple might have become parents. The twins did not confirm or deny the rumors, choosing to let people draw their own conclusions. The caption on the post was simple: blessed. Whether or not the baby is theirs, the image symbolized something deeper, a sense of peace, joy, and continuity after years of scrutiny and judgment. In the end, Abby and Brittany's story is one of courage and quiet defiance. They've faced the world's most personal questions with grace, responded to hate with humor, and turned controversy into an opportunity to educate and inspire. They show that love is not confined by the body, that happiness is not dictated by society's expectations, and that privacy is still a right even for those born into global attention. Their relationship, whether misunderstood or admired, remains a testament to human adaptability, resilience, and the beauty of living authentically despite the odds. Abby and Brittany Hensel have built a life on their own terms, and if their marriage has taught the world anything, it's that no one but them gets to define what their happiness looks like. In recent years, Abby and Brittany Hensel have chosen to step away from the spotlight that once made them global icons, but their story continues to fascinate millions around the world. As the twins who once invited cameras into their lives through talk shows, documentaries, and even their own reality TV series, they have now embraced a more private, grounded lifestyle. Yet, ironically, their attempts to live quietly have only fueled even more curiosity, speculation, and public fascination. Today, their lives are far from the bright glare of media attention, but they are perhaps more complex, fulfilling, and quietly revolutionary than ever before. After their graduation from Bethel University and their decision to become teachers, Abby and Brittany settled into a small community in Minnesota, where they both work as fifth-grade educators. Their colleagues and students often describe them as compassionate, funny, and deeply dedicated to their work. Both are certified teachers, and while they share one body, the Minnesota Department of Education recognizes them as two separate professionals, meaning they each receive individual contracts, evaluations, and paychecks. That arrangement is as unique as their lives, reflecting how society continues to evolve in understanding individuality beyond physical boundaries. Their classrooms are described as warm and energetic environments, where the twins use their shared experience to teach empathy, teamwork, and acceptance. Students often say that Abby and Brittany are not only great teachers, but also daily reminders that anything is possible when you work together. Yet, outside the classroom, life for Abby and Brittany has not been without challenges. Their transition from global fame to a quieter adult life has been a balancing act, one between public interest and personal privacy. For years after their TLC series, Abby and Brittany ended in 2012. The twins were rarely seen in public interviews or media appearances. They seem to have vanished, focusing entirely on their careers and their family life. But in 2023, the world's attention turned back to them in a dramatic way when news broke that Abby had gotten married. The revelation came not through a major media announcement, but rather through social media specifically. A TikTok video featuring Abby, Brittany, and Abby's husband, a U.S. Army veteran and nurse named Josh Bowling. The internet exploded. Millions were stunned, confused, and fascinated all over again. For years, people had speculated about whether either twin would ever get married, and how a relationship would even function given their unique physiology. When Abby's marriage became public, online debates erupted almost instantly. Questions ranged from the deeply personal to the downright invasive. How does marriage work for them? What about intimacy? Did Brittany consent? The tone of curiosity often crossed into intrusion, with tabloids rushing to publish sensationalized stories about their relationship, and social media filling with both fascination and judgment. The twins responded the way they always have, with grace, humor, and subtle defiance. On TikTok, they posted a short but powerful message. The internet is extra loud today. We have always been around. In another post, they added, "If you don't like what we do, but you watch everything we're doing, you're still a fan." It was a clever, confident reminder that they remain unapologetically themselves, two individuals who have spent their entire lives navigating a world that often doesn't know how to see them as human beings first. Their words went viral, earning them support from fans who praise their poise and their refusal to be defined by outsiders. The renewed media attention also brought new layers of speculation about their private life. People wondered how the marriage dynamic worked between Abby, Brittany, and Josh Bowling. Some speculated whether Abby and Josh had legally married as individuals or as a shared entity, and how that might affect things like property, consent, and family rights. Others were more respectful, focusing on how love can take forms that defy convention. Amid all the noise, one thing became clear. Abby and Brittany were not looking for anyone's approval. They were simply living their lives the way they saw fit, and their silence on intimate details was their way of asserting control over their own story, something they'd struggled to maintain since childhood. Around the same time, reports surfaced about a paternity suit involving Josh Bowling and his ex-wife, related to his daughter born in 2020. Although the case did not directly involve Abby or Brittany, the media frenzy around it dragged their names back into headlines, raising ethical questions about the public's right to pry into the twins' personal affairs. They did not comment on the situation, choosing instead to continue focusing on their work and their family. In the few glimpses they've shared since, they have appeared happy, peaceful, and confident, often surrounded by family and close friends. Then, in 2024, the twins quietly resurfaced online with another wave of attention. They shared clips showing moments from their lives' birthdays, holidays, and celebrations, including a brief clip of Abby's wedding dance and another that appeared to show them holding a baby. The footage sent social media into overdrive, sparking speculation about whether Abby and Brittany had become mothers. Some news outlets published unverified reports claiming the twins were raising a child together with Josh Bowling. While they have never publicly confirmed or denied those claims, their videos were captioned with words like blessed and grateful, leaving fans to interpret the meaning for themselves. As of 2025, Abby and Brittany still live in Minnesota and continue to teach. Their social media presence remains carefully curated, a mix of positivity, family moments, and subtle commentary on their ongoing struggle for privacy. They often post short TikToks with light humor or messages about resilience, reminding the world that they are not freaks or medical curiosities, but real women with full, vibrant lives. Despite everything, the documentaries, the talk shows, the global fascination, and the endless speculation, the twins have managed something few public figures ever achieve: a sense of peace. Still, curiosity persists. Every new photo or post reignites online conversations about their health, their personal relationships, and the future. Some fans wonder whether the twins will return to television or write a memoir about their lives. Others express concern about their long-term health, as conjoined twins of their type rarely live into old age. Medical experts, however, have noted that the Hensel twins have defied every prediction so far, thanks to excellent health care, strong family support, and their own determination. The story of Abby and Brittany today is not one of tragedy, but of quiet triumph. They have built meaningful careers, maintained deep family bonds, and faced the world's scrutiny with patience and grace. Yet the mystery surrounding them, how they manage their daily lives, how they make decisions together, how they navigate love and independence, continues to fascinate and challenge society's definitions of normalcy. In every way, they remain pioneers of human resilience, proving that identity is more than just the shape of a body. It's the choices, courage, and compassion that define a person's spirit. In many ways, Abby and Brittany's current life is the most powerful statement they've ever made. By living authentically and privately, they have reclaimed the narrative that once belonged to tabloids and TV producers. They've shown that even in a world obsessed with spectacle, real strength lies in quiet defiance and living your truth, regardless of who's watching. Their recent years are not about separation or tragedy, but about unity, maturity, and the simple beauty of an ordinary life lived in an extraordinary way. So, while the world continues to speculate, Abby and Brittany Hensel are not seeking anyone's permission or validation. They are teachers, daughters, sisters, friends, and, for millions of people watching from afar, symbols of what it means to truly live beyond limitations. Their story, now 3 decades long, has evolved from a medical marvel into something far greater, a testament to love, individuality, and the unbreakable power of human connection. And now that we've reached the end of this extraordinary story, one thing is clear: Abby and Brittany Hensel have defied every limit that the world tried to impose on them. From the moment they were born, doctors, media, and even strangers doubted they would survive, let alone live a full, independent, and meaningful life. Yet, they proved everyone wrong. Behind the smiles and synchronized movements lies a story filled with controversy, resilience, and unshakable sisterhood. The debates around their privacy, media exposure, and personal choices have always stirred curiosity and judgment. How do two minds share one body and still maintain individual identities, dreams, and opinions? How do they face love, relationships, and the constant public fascination that sometimes borders on intrusion? These are questions that continue to divide opinions and fuel endless discussions online. Some people see them as a miracle of nature, others as a mystery that science still struggles to fully explain. But what no one can deny is their courage to exist, to live on their own terms, and to inspire millions simply by being unapologetically themselves. Their story is not just about survival. It's about redefining what it means to be human, to be united, and to live in harmony against all odds. Before you leave, don't forget to hit subscribe and like this video. That simple action tells YouTube that our content matters and helps us bring you more emotional and thought-provoking stories like this one. Your subscription keeps this channel alive and growing. And if you want to support us even more, click the Super Thanks button. It's an amazing way to help us continue producing deep, human stories that reveal the truths behind extraordinary lives. But if you can't, no worries, just drop a comment below and tell us what part of Abby and Brittany's journey moved or shocked you the most. Every like, every comment, every share makes a huge difference. And stay tuned until the very end, because the final revelation in our next video will leave you absolutely speechless.